City Parish President, Mr. Joey Durrell, any comments before we get started, sir?
Just y'all would like to just approve my budget as given to you again. It's not too late.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
I had filled out a blue card. I don't know if this is the right place or not.
But I think you particularly wanted to speak on behalf.
If you want to speak to just this item and
Yes.
not, okay, please identify yourself for the record.
Okay, my name is Ray Green, and I live in District 6, and I'm representing the Citizens Committee to cut spending. Gentlemen, I'm a little confused, and from listening to the conversations, I don't seem to be the only one that's confused. I don't know what kind of price we're talking about. I don't know we're talking about 500,000, 600,000, 650, or whatever you need, or whatever. In view of looking at some of the headlines in the paper, LCG faces $5 million shortfall. That's interesting. And then we have other little headlines. LCG will spend as much as $6 million to buy the horse farm. That's interesting. Issuing $6 million in certificates of indebtedness to make the purchase. And then the City Council is considering an increased subsidy to the Cajun Dome. And they want to make it another $50,000. And then we find out that the University of Louisiana actually owns the Cajun Dome. That's interesting. More confusion. Let's face it, people. Adding $500,000 or increasing $50,000 to the X amount of dollars, let's just call it X amount because nobody seems to know what it is. It doesn't make much sense to me. Then I see where Mr. Durrell had an article in the paper where it says he needs to revamp the LCG situation. Well, I think so. I agree. I think it's about time. Picture this, gentlemen. Let's picture a gigantic hole, something like what they call it where the ground starts sinking in, a sinkhole. Right. Let's picture one of these. And we've got a man standing there pitching $1,000 bills into it. And he's got a big stack of them. Whether it's 500,000 of them or 600,000 or 650. And he gets down to the end after spending all this money in that sinkhole. And then he turns around and says, by the way, you got another 50,000? Will somebody explain to me how that makes common sense? I mean, I admit that I'm not too smart, but that doesn't make much sense to me. For the past 25 or 26 years, we've been donating $650,000 or $600,000. That's over $13 million. That's a lot of money. You can do a lot of grass cutting. You can fix a lot of ditches. You can fix a lot of things that need to be fixed for $13 million, especially since we don't even own it. My big question is, where does the owner come in? Where does the university come in? They own it. If you or I needed money and we didn't have it, what would we do? Wouldn't we have to sell something that we own? Why doesn't the UL do the same thing to raise the money? Why are they so different? Why are they so special? We've got a lot of things around here that need fixing with money. Mr. Boudreaux, you said, hey, if they need some more money, come on back. We'll try to accommodate them. Well, that's real nice. But again, where are you getting the money? Would somebody mind telling me that? Where are you going to get the additional $50,000? Hello? Gentlemen, at the opening of each meeting, you invite the public to come down and get involved and to participate. How can I participate if I don't get any communication? Communication is a two-way street. Now somebody communicate with me. Where are you getting the additional $50,000? Tell me. Nobody answers. Well, I'm trying to get involved, but I'm not getting any help. Not getting any communication. Does this mean that you're being hypocritical? You asked for somebody to get involved. You asked for participation. Communicate with me, somebody. We got 9 bodies sitting up there and 2 over here. Somebody communicate with me.
Green.
Where are you getting the $50,000?
Yes, sir. Please lower your voice. Councilman Terrio.
Okay. Where are you getting the $50,000?
Mr. Green,
Mr. Green.
please lower your voice.
Right here.
Councilman Terrio
Right
is
here.
trying to answer. I can't get him in with you screaming.
Okay.
Ms.
Councilman
Toops,
Terrio.
if you can back me up, I think the additional 50 would be coming out of the general fund, the city general fund, in order to fund them the additional 50,000 above and beyond the 500 they already get.
Yes, sir.
Okay. When I was in psychology class many years ago, the professor said if you keep repeating something over and over and over and over and over for 25 years, that's a sign of insanity. Gentlemen, I don't mean to be rude, but this sounds to me like it's a little bit of financial, shall we say, insanity. Doesn't make any sense. And I would appreciate if somebody would give me some more answers. No offense intended, gentlemen, but it seems like that it's a little bit of financial insanity. I'm all for the Cajun Dome, but I'm also for somebody who owns the darn thing to pay for it. Am I unreasonable? Thank you very much.
I just have one question.
Please identify yourself for the record, ma'am.
Stephanie Skinner.
Thank you.
When Mr. Green talked, how come you laughed at him, Mr. Durrell? It's not funny. Okay, well, the tape will show that. But we get upset in our hearts, and people get sad, and it's not funny enough. So I have a few questions on just everything. That's okay if I take my 5 minutes real quick and just...
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, on page 30, I want to ask about the federal money. Last year there was $18.9 million was given to us from the federal government. And this year only $73,000 has been received. And so there's 22 federal grants that have not come through yet. And I want to know why and when they come through, if anybody knows.
Ma'am, I know I cannot answer that question for you right now.
That's fine.
What I could do is if you can get with our clerk,
Okay.
and I'd be more than happy to do that research.
Sure.
But I definitely do
Yes,
not
sir.
have the answer to that.
Okay, that's perfect. Also, yeah, and there's only one state grant listed too, but I'll get in touch with the office on that. Investments. If we're in debt and we're broke, and like Mr. Green said with his articles on the situation that Consolidated Government's in, there's $3.3 million revenue in investment earnings. And so I wanted to know what you invest in and where does the money come to invest if we're in a crunch, and what are the investments used for? And that's on page 35 and 36.
I know by our charter and our law that we have to balance our budget. So we might not have as much money as we have in the past. I know that, Ms. Toops, and we have to have a balanced budget. Is that correct? By our charter. The investments, once again, I don't know if Ms. Toops, do you have any answers about the investments, but I can get you those information on how we make money in our investments. Or maybe Mr. Durrell, do you have an idea?
Well, sir, you collect property taxes at the beginning of the year. We don't spend 100% of our budget the day we collect the money. It sits in the bank and we try to maximize earnings. We have some funds that do have money and they earn revenue, and we have some funds that are very strapped for money because our funds and our tax structure is dedicated. Money that is dedicated for mosquito control and health unit, they have money and it earns interest. But I can't take that money and use it in the city or the parish general fund whose budget is tighter. So you have various arrays in which you can earn interest. We invest only in what we are allowed to invest in by state law and nothing else. It's a very conservative investment portfolio.
Yes, ma'am. Is there a way, I'm going to move on, but is there a way I can attain a list of those investments?
You can.
Or is that not privy to the public?
Everything we do is privy to the public, and it is posted on the internet, and you can look it up in the audited financial statements, and you will see the investments identified in the financial statements every year as long as LCG has been LCG.
Yes,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
once again, if you want to get with the clerk or the administration with a
will.
list so we can answer.
I'm just learning everything. It's hard. Okay,
Well,
now my
I wish I
next
had
one.
more answers. Some of the questions I will have the answer to, and some of them I will not, that are more
Understand, and
technical.
that's totally fair.
Okay.
My next one, I'm running out of time, is the police department and their personal salaries. This is on page 129. On page 129, there was $755,000 on the personal salaries last year. It's up to $13.3 million. Why is that? Is that a typo, or their raises, or?
Would you like me to
Yes,
address
Ms.
that?
Toots,
This was explained during the budget process. We had all the salaries broken out into several divisions, which made it administratively cumbersome for the police chief to handle. So now all the salaries are in one division, so it will mirror the way the fire department is handled.
Yes, ma'am, because that's a huge
The
increase.
police department is actually decreasing substantially because of all the positions that were cut.
Yes, ma'am. Well, how come it went from $755,000 up to $13.3 million?
Because it was recorded over many different divisions.
Okay.
So you don't see it all in one line item.
Yes, ma'am.
And now we're moved it up to one line item. This is a line item. If you look further on, you will see very many divisions that are showing zero for next year. Got to look at the next few pages.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. And my next one is holiday pay on the police department. Is that the same issue, Ms. Lori? Is that,
That's the same issue.
Okay. And then the next one I have is group health care and Medicare. Last year it was $91,000. Now it's projected to $1.9 million. Same thing?
Same issue. It's all being recorded under one division.
Okay. And so does Obamacare, is that going to raise costs in any sense of the word?
We have an estimated increase in group health. I cannot say that it's related to Obamacare. It is related to the studies that our consultants do, and I believe it was about an 11% increase in the cost.
Yes, ma'am. Also, we have to give the federal government $4.4 million on Medicare and SSI. Is that correct?
I'm not sure where you got that number from.
Okay. Because I know group health care is up 20 times, group life insurance up 19 times, retirement Medicare is up 20 times. But, okay, well, I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.
And I just want to let you know, I do appreciate you coming and ask questions, and we want that. On some of the technical ones, please submit them. We can try our best, Mr. Stanley and the administration, and Mr. Durrell, and Ms. Dugas, if you have any, that we can research and answer ahead of time.
Sir.
But definitely, no, there is no dumb question, so keep asking them.
Thanks. Yeah, and then that way Acadiana can learn, because as I learn, they can learn, and it's important to all of us. Thank you.
I'll learn too.